Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and my first YouTube video. This is an unboxing and assembly video for the Axminster Trade AT508WL wood turning lathe, and I'm going to demonstrate how I got from this to this. The AT508WL is a perfect description really, as it stands for the Axminster Trade 508mm diameter over the bed wood turning lathe, and that translates to a spindle height over the bed of half that distance, which is 254mm or 10 inches. So that means you can turn a whopping 20-inch diameter blank in the standard setup. Whilst researching this lathe, I couldn't find any video content on this product, which is unusual in this day and age, and so I thought I would produce my own video for others to benefit. So here we go. So this is the largest lathe in the Axminster Trade series. Heavy duty, all cast iron, 280 kilos, so really stable for those bigger projects. And then you also get the Axminster Trade series 3-year guarantee. So really good. So as well as the main larger box, you get the instruction manual, as well as the smaller box which holds the side extension attachment. Just removing some of the staples out of the cardboard. And then inside, very well packaged for the transport. Got some wooden braces there. And inside you can see the two legs, the main lathe, and a box of accessories. And inside there, I'll go through this in some detail a bit later, but you've got some instructions, all the various extras, the feet, and we'll go through that a little bit later. So just trying to find the best way to get all of this out. And basically what I've done is just wrestle these two wooden supports away from the pallet at the bottom, and there I'm just taking away a wooden stop which is stopping those leg boxes slipping back. And again here, sellotaped, stapled in a very strong cardboard box, and that's one of two legs. Again, really well packaged, and as you'd expect, very heavy. I didn't weigh these, I don't know if people find that useful or not. And again here, just trying to wrestle out that second wooden stop on that side. And then the second of the two legs. So again here I was just trying to decide what the best way to get the cardboard off, and actually it occurred to me that the whole of the main cardboard box is actually just sort of stapled around the edges to the pallet that the actual lathe lies on, and then that pallet is on a transport pallet that allowed us to get it off the back of the truck when the delivery guy came. So once this main bit of packaging comes off, that's the lathe. So it comes effectively pre-assembled, which I think for transport makes life very easy. And along with that, you've got this sort of protective grease on there, and that will all need to come off once you assemble your lathe. So here basically what I'm doing is disassembling it. So tailstock coming off, and as you can see, very solid, quite heavy. That's the 300mm 30cm tool rest. It's one of two that you get. And then the banjo, again solid, really nice locking handle on that, and the tailstock and the headstock for that matter. And then that's the inverter box, and the inverter box is anchored down to the pallet just with 2 screws. And again, just pop that off to the side. And then the headstock with motor attached just to allow it to rotate. And as you can see, you know, really quite hefty. And I haven't shown me, basically I did just manage to lift that off myself and put it down to the side. And here I'm just using actually a bike degreaser just to wipe off all that residual oil and grease. And then here I'm just using a webbing strap rated to 1 ton, and I've hooked up a block and tackle from my I'm lucky enough to have a steel girder going the full length of the roof of my workshop. And if anybody, I can put the links to where I got this kit from. Really useful. I'm not going to be moving anything heavier than 1 ton, so I just bought it does come in a 500 kilogram version, but I just thought, well, may as well get the 1 ton version, and that quite easily takes the weight of that lathe bed. And I'm just taking the transport pallet away, and the slightly flimsier pallet that it comes on, move that round, and this is me just sort of setting up to attach the legs. And I must stress that, you know, we're in the middle of this COVID-19 lockdown, and I can't expect anybody to come and help me put this together, but obviously Axminster would, and indeed myself would, really advise that this is at least a 2 if not 3-man job. But having this block and tackle all securely set up, and it is really important that you read the instructions how to use that properly, has just made life a bit easier, and meant that I can put this together myself. Here I'm just showing you that the feet have got, on the lower portion of that screw thread, allows you to use a number 11 spanner just to adjust and sort of fine tune the height. So once the legs and the feet are on, and you set it up where you want it, you can then fine tune the height of those feet just to get you a nice level bed, both longitudinally and front to back. And you'll see me do that a little bit later. Here I'm just measuring how high I need to lift the lathe bed off the ground, and basically it needs to be 69 or 690 millimeters off the floor, because that's how high the legs are, and then obviously a little bit extra for the additional height that the feet give. So there, that wasn't quite tall enough. And so I'm just swapping around the straps. So this is me just raising it up to the correct height, and then just a little bit beyond. And you can see I'm wearing headphones there, actually, sort of ear defenders there. And the reason for that is it's that block and tackle system, pulling on that chain, is really noisy actually. So I'm doing the right thing and popping those ear defenders on. And here we've just got 4 M10 bolts that screw in from the underside of the legs into the bottom of the lathe bed. And again, I'm just using a I think I had some flexible ratchet spanners but actually I then changed over to just a socket wrench. It was much easier. And there we go. So once that's done, you can move the lathe bed to where you want it. And that was pretty straightforward, just inching it over one end at a time, and it slides quite nicely. And then just really setting it up to be level. So from side to side it was okay, but from front to back it was a little bit off, so that was just a question of adjusting the feet with an 11mm spanner and just checking that you're happy in both orientations, no wobble there. And then just one final check, and that's nice and level now. So it's just a question of getting all the rest of the hardware on. So first up, the headstock and the inverter box, and you can see lifting from the legs, and it is really quite a beast. And again, I would suggest getting ideally 2 people to help with that bit. And the inverter box and the control unit, which it's got a nice foam covered magnetic back, which means you can attach it wherever you like on the lathe, so it's handy. And there are just 2 hex head screws that attach the inverter box on the inside of either leg. You can put it at either end depending on your setup. And then just before I put the headstock, banjo and tailstock on, I'm just using a bit of Axminster machine wax just to give it a light thin coating on the lathe bed. And remember to make sure you've cleaned off all that transport grease, not just from the lathe bed but on the underside of all the units that go on top. So again, here I've hoisted that up onto a little portable table and managed to heave that on there, but again, please get some help for this. That would make much more sense and be a lot safer. And then once it's on, you can see it slides really beautifully. I mean, it is heavy, so it needs a bit of a push, but once it's up there, it slides really nicely. And then here I'm just rotating it through its axis, and this will effectively spin 360 degrees, so you can have it on any orientation you want. And you can angle it at whatever angle you want, but it does have some built-in lockout positions at every 45 degrees. And there it is. And on there you can see there's the faceplate. That is 6 inches or 150mm. And there's a good solid banjo. Again, I'll put some measurements in for this on the next video as I go into a bit more detail. That's one of the 2 tool rests. That's the 300mm one, or 12-inch. Really heavy duty, robust bit of kit. And then finally the tailstock, and again just sliding up and down really nicely. So once it's plugged in, you can use the control box and fire it up. If you enjoyed this video, then please click that subscribe button, and in part 2 I'll be looking at the lathe in more detail, and that video will be uploaded shortly, so please watch out for it. Thanks again for watching. My name's Kim, this is OneLifeDesigns. Stay safe.